Ashley, so good to see you. I miss your face.
Hi, how are you? I miss your face.
I'm good. So welcome everybody to navigating the self-care challenges of COVID-19. Ashley and I are excited that you're here to join us today. Just a little bit, we thought we would introduce ourselves because you might know one of us more than the other. And so I'm Elizabeth Miller. I'm the founder of Happy Healthy Caregiver, which is happyhealthycaregiver.com and Happy Healthy Caregiver podcast. I am affectionately a self-care bully because caregivers are my people. They often burn out. And so I love to care for the caregiver and just help them recharge and make sure that they're energized. So I'm excited to be with you, Ashley. Ashley, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, so excited. So happy to be here with you guys. My name is Ashley Poptodorova. I know that last name is super daunting, so it's easier now you know how to pronounce it. And I'm with A&A Wellness and Ladies Who Love Christ Ministries. I run a ministry as well. And I'm just super excited to be here sharing some tips with you. Elizabeth and I have been friends for a while now. We get to work out together in the gym. I get to train her. I love her. She's one of my favorite people in the world, super positive and inspiring. And so it's an honor to be here, and I'm super excited to give you guys some great tips about navigating these crazy times.
Yes, I think we've known each other for over 5 years, Ashley, and you have been through the thick of it with me. Right before my mom started getting sick, I often share this story with my people, is my mom got sick and then my dad got sick and passed away, and you went through all of that with me. And also really, I'm giving you a lot of the credit for starting Happy Healthy Caregiver. You pushed me, to help share my story and just be authentic online. So thank you for that.
I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
And you have, this is so cool. And that's why I'm so excited for those of you who join in and get to see this recording after as well, is that, it just goes to show that we can take things that are challenging in our lives. We can take the most daunting circumstances and use it for good. And so Elizabeth and I today are going to give you some practical ways to do that. And it's pretty cool to see how Happy Healthy Caregiver has grown and flourished and just totally exploded, really, from some really challenging times, right? Some really challenging.
Yeah, more than ever, caregivers need our help. So we're here, the two of us, to support you. Just a quick disclaimer is, we're not medical professionals. We're experts in what we do, which is me helping caregivers, Ashley with in the fitness industry. But we have collected what works for us and what works for our clients, and we have kind of pulled out 4 things that you're going to get from this call that are going to help you navigate COVID-19. And so it's super timely. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your feedback. So we are available if you've got questions after you've listened to this. And if you have ideas of your own, we're content curators. We love to just hear what's working for other people so we can amplify that and share it with others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you ready?
Yeah, let's dive into it. Ashley, you've got the first tip, so go for it.
So four simple points. The first point is to focus on what you can control. So during this time, there's so much that we cannot control happening around us. There's so much craziness. There's so many uncertainties. I think the one common denominator that everybody's feeling right now is a little bit of uncertainty with what to expect, what's around the corner. And so I am thinking about this a little bit deeper. I think the first place to start is to realize that there are still a lot of things you can control, even when life seems so shaky, right? So the first point that I wanted to highlight here, and before I do so, I want to share this with you, is one of my favorite sayings is, what you focus on is what gets your attention. So you can focus on the negative, you can focus on the uncertainties, you can focus on those things, or you can choose to shift your focus to the things that you can control. And in that process, you can get stronger in certain areas, healthier in certain areas, and you can use this vital time to grow. And I think that's an amazing thing that we have that choice to make. So ultimately, it's a choice to focus on the healthy, good things. So through that, exercise, right? Now is like the perfect time to get outdoors, take a brisk walk, go walk with your family, social distancing, of course. Get outside, look up at the sky, the blue, the green, the trees. It's beautiful springtime right now. Smell the fresh air. Like all of these things, as basic as they sound, they bring a lot of calming ability to them, right? It just calms you, it centers you. So exercise is huge. Get your body moving, sweat. You know, I always say as a health coach, exercise, you get endorphins from that. You get those feel good feelings, for lack of a better word, right? The key right now, you guys, is not to stop moving. This is not the time to sit on the couch. I love Elizabeth saying, she always says in the morning when we work out, we're doing virtual workouts, she'll say, we're lapping everybody on the couch. And it's so true, right? You have a choice to just lay there and do nothing, or you have a choice to get up and move. So exercise is key. Get outside, do what you can do, you know. You may not be able to get to the gym and you're used to going to the gym. Well, there's always something you can do. And I always say, it may sound a little tough, but I don't want to hear what you can't do. I want to hear what you can do, right? Because there's a lot of things we can't do, but there's a lot of things we can do. So exercise is key. And then the next thing I wanted to recommend is, this is a vital, ample time for you to focus on your health and your lifestyle goals, right? You can literally use this time to fuel your body with healthy foods, to take some extra time for meal prep that maybe you don't normally have. I know that for me, even though I'm staying busy, there's still a whole lot of extra time in there that I didn't typically have before. So now this is a time to focus on, hey, here's some great healthy recipes I want to try. Get in the kitchen with your family, make it a family affair, and start to use that time to create some solid, healthy habits. So healthy food and exercise, you guys, are the two biggest things I can recommend. But also under that, and I'm going to let Elizabeth kind of go into her point after this, but those two things are also the biggest immune boosters that you have control over. Literally, people are so afraid of their immunity right now. And if I get this, am I going to be able to survive this? Listen, this is an immunity-based thing. If your immune system's vibrant and healthy and strong, you can get that like any other virus and your body will knock it out. So work it out, eat healthy, clean foods, control what you can control, right? Think healthy thoughts. So focus on what you can control. What you focus on is what gets your attention. Point number one.
I love it, Ashley. And I'm not a fitness trainer, but I am one of your loyal students and clients. But it's a struggle sometimes, I'm going to admit, to get out of bed and do it. But I never regret it. You often say it just takes 10 minutes. Just start it for 10 minutes and then you can do it, because and getting outside is a recharge for sure. It's just like, it's almost like you're a solar battery, you know what I mean? And you're just soaking up the rays and you can just feel better. So, and then I would say sleep, the immunity thing and survival of the fittest is essentially what's happening right now. And with our immunity.
100%.
Yeah. So I've been furloughed, and, that's a mixed blessing. Because I'm able to do what you're saying and spend more time in the kitchen, not feeling rushed to do these hurried meals, and just taking a little more time and enjoying cooking again and sleeping better. And I have time to work out.
I think right now there's an opportunity for us as a culture and a society too, to really reevaluate and analyze what matters in our life. You know what I mean? Like you said, the sleep and the family and the events and the connections that are being formed in this unique way, it really gives us that opportunity to look and say, maybe I was living a little imbalanced before. I know that for me to achieve my lifestyle, Elizabeth, it was having to really reevaluate what mattered most and filtering out what didn't matter, and starting to focus on that. We try to focus on everything, and we're human beings, we're not robots. So
it's so true.
One more really quick thing. I always say the time between when you wake up, when you get out of bed, and when you go to put on your clothes to get that exercise in, there's this little window of time between when you wake up and when you get dressed. That's where people talk themselves out of it. Discipline is doing what you need to do when you need to do it, whether you like it or not. Discipline is something that you have to cultivate, that you have to grow, that you have to learn. And I learned that in my journey, that, you know what, I'm going to do what I need to do when I need to do it. And I'm not going to like it in the beginning. 90% of the time, I'm not going to like it. But when I reach that goal, when I develop the habits, all of a sudden there's a shift. And it's like, I crave it. I crave that exercise. I crave that healthy food. But you've got to get through that crucial phase where it's really, really hard to develop those habits. So let me go ahead, and we have someone jumping in. We're letting Chris in.
Awesome.
Hi, Chris.
Glad you could join us. Well, Ashley, you brought up a lot of great points. And so I think getting to what's important to us is important. It's just to figure out, what you value. So the next step that we wanted to bring up was the step number 2 is just to not isolate during this time. Like, a lot of times I think people just go into their bubble and they isolate themselves. And so that is one of the areas where, as a caregiver, I felt very isolated in a lot of ways. But we are in unique times here with what's going on, but there are things that you can control as far as not isolating yourself. And so a lot of our events are getting canceled. And what I'm encouraging people to do is to get creative, not cancel your event, but figure out how you can modify it and do it virtually. And so, for example, I've got a book club that we meet monthly. Well, we've been doing our book clubs virtually. And it's fun. I know you lead a lot of online Bible studies, and that's something that people, maybe they did an in-person Bible study, but now they can do an online Bible study. There's so many ways that we can connect with each other. We can also do support groups. Like, whatever your situation is, you can find a support group for you that will meet virtually. So we used to do daughterhood circles in a restaurant once a month, and we're not doing those in person anymore, but we're doing them virtually. And what I'm finding is like I'm able to reach more clients. I can not just focus on the Atlanta area, but I can focus on the other areas. And so that's one of the sub tips under not isolating, is just don't cancel your events. You need your people. Yes, and then I've been enjoying, I've connected more with people now than I have on a regular basis. I've been doing, some of them I've coordinated, some of them other people have coordinated, but like Zoom or FaceTime calls with groups of people, with my high school friends, my college friends, my extended family, and we were scratching our head and saying how fun it was, and that maybe, why don't we do these all the time? So we've really been enjoying that. There's also a great app you can use on your smartphone that's called Marco Polo. I've been using it with my sister, who's a caregiver, and what I like about it is that it's not invasive, like scheduling a call or having to all get together. You decide when you want to record little mini video clips with your group that you put together in the app. The app is free. And basically, you record and talk, share what's up to, ask questions, and then they can record and do their piece when you want, and then you can sit down and watch them when you want and react to them. So that, I feel like, is a great thing, especially like there are some caregivers who are disconnected from their care recipients, who are in senior living centers and assisted living communities, or we're all spread out and normally we see each other more, but we're social distancing. So those are some great ways to reconnect. We have done too, depending on the rules in your area, we've done some social distancing with neighbors. We've met in the soccer field. We all bring our blanket. We bring, some lemonade or whatever and snacks, and we all bring our own stuff, and we just sit. And when you have to go to the bathroom, you go home. So, we've done that in the cul-de-sac with chairs, or we've sat around a fire pit, and everybody's in their own little families. Your family sits together, and then you've got 6 feet of space, and then another family. So, but even in actually near us, we have the Marietta Square. I just went and had a furlough lunch yesterday with a group of other people I work with that have been furloughed. We did the same thing. We ordered takeout, supported our local businesses, came together, sat 6 feet apart, caught up, and kind of commiserated about our situation and supported each other. But then the other thing I wanted you to share on too about not isolating is not isolating when it comes to our faith. that, we've got a big helper that we can lean on. So you've got lots of resources for that.
Yeah, those are some amazing ideas. I even wrote down, I remember you telling me about it a while ago and I never looked it up. So I'm going to look up that Marco Polo app. But I love that you're still so purposeful to stay connected. And that's the thing, is that there's a lot of different ways people process what's happening right now. We're all so different, right? We're all going to process things different. We're all going to have different perceptions. We're all going to look at the same situation so different, right? But the fact of the matter is there's still, again, there's so much you can do. And isolation, you don't have to be isolated. You can, like Elizabeth said, make those choices to stay plugged in and to stay connected. I have been blessed since December of 2016 to run Ladies Who Love Christ Ministries. And we do year round. We've been doing them for 3 years. So 3 years pre-COVID-19. We're in our 17th, I think, online live Bible study. We do them year round, live and online. And we have women in 40 countries that all come together. We're all over the world. And we do studies together, many teachings. We're also on Faith Talk Atlanta each weekend, which is the sister station of the Fish. And it's amazing because there's so much that you can still do it online to grow in your faith. There's so many studies, there's so many things that you can do. And the key is just, number one, and that's what I'm going to go into next, is figuring out what matters most to you. As human beings, we oftentimes try to take the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we try to do everything. We try to be the perfect caregiver, the perfect wife, the perfect friend, the perfect you name it. We try to get in our health and fitness. We try to do it all. But the fact of the matter is that we're human beings. We're flesh and blood human beings. We're not robots. And so early on, one of the most valuable things I learned in my life that I share with people, that I learned through this journey, is that there's only so many things you can focus on. So you have to look at your life and you have to determine what matters most to me and who matters most. What is the most important things that I want to accomplish in my life? And that leads us to point number 3, is establishing a weekly routine. I had to start to look at my week as a pie, and then I break that down like the pieces of the pie day by day, right? 7 pieces. And I look every day, what is the most important thing to me? What am I going to do today that's going to get me closer to my goals tomorrow? What am I going to do today that's going to get me to that place of rest? Maybe you're a caretaker and you're just burnt out and frazzled and tired and you need rest. What are you going to do today that's going to allow you to get that rest? So you can't do it all, right? So what I do is I establish a weekly routine, and that weekly routine encompasses everything that matters most to me. That's first and foremost my relationship with the Lord. For me, that's everything. That's at the top of the pillar, is my relationship, my faith walk, and how strong I'm going to be. And that's up to me, because those are things I do daily that helps me grow. Devotions, I build that in every day. My husband, to me, it's very important to be a good wife, to have a solid home. I feel like if you don't have a solid home, nothing else in your life is going to be solid. So I focus on that. I build in time to relax with Alex into my weekly schedule. Working out. I mean, I'm a health coach. I cannot preach and teach something that I don't live. So I have to work out every day. I don't do it 7 days a week, realistically 4 to 5 days. And I train heavy. I get in, I get out, and it's really effective. But these are all things that I build in. So remember, look at your week and then break it down into pieces day by day. And it's all centered around what matters most to you, right? So many people give copious amounts of energy and effort to things that are not the most important in their lives. And the question I always answer to myself is this, and I'm going to wrap this point up. If I were to take my last breath, what do I want people to say about my life? How I lived, how I acted, how I encouraged them, and everything I do, I build into my week to make sure that when that happens, because that day is going to come for all of us, that I can say I ran my race well, right? So establishing a weekly routine, now is not the time to lose your routine. Now is not the time to get complacent and lazy and lay on the couch. Okay. So build in what it is that matters to you. Maybe it's that family time, you have children, grandchildren, whatever that looks like. I can't answer that for you. Build it in. And remember that structure helps keep us focused. I always say what you focus on is what gets your attention, but you have to have structure. It's like I had a business advisor years ago that would say to me, Ashley, and I was in my 20s when we started our business, early 20s, you can't fire, ready, aim. You cannot fire, ready, aim. You have to be focused. You have to know what it is you want, and you have to diligently take those steps. So establish that routine. Don't lose structure right now. How is that possible in my life? Use a planner. I have a great planner that I break down day by day. I look at that as a whole. And then I also utilize the simple little notes feature in my iPhone. And day by day, I write down a very detailed schedule. When I wake up, I know what I'm doing that day. I know exactly what's on the plans. I know if I have to meal prep. I know what my workout is. So do that. Create some structure. It may not have to be as stringent as I like to be, because that's something I like. But do that in your life. It'll encourage you greatly. It'll help you. And you're going to look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Right?
What I like about what you share, Ashley, is that, you know, sometimes I think we get hung up on this daily routine. It's so rigid and strict, but especially when you're a caregiver, you need a little flexibility in your life with your routine. And so I think that offers that, you know, if you didn't hit it one day, you know, you still have days to hit your goal. And don't beat yourself up. Like, we've all got to give ourselves some grace too. In these crazy times. But I do think we have a unique opportunity right now where, you know, things have changed for us. Like, for example, I look at my life and it's, you know, I was furloughed. That's 40 hours a week that I was doing something else that I can then decide where in my pie I want to reallocate that to. But even if I was still working, I still had time from, you know, I wasn't doing my commute. I didn't have to maybe do as much beautification as I would, you know, normally. I'm working out in my home gym versus, you know, driving and doing some other things out and about. So we have this opportunity of this time that we can figure out and we can assess and really think about, you know, the 4 or 5 things that are really important to you. Like you had mention yours. And I know for me, I've got to also practice what I preach with the self-care. So I'm taking my 40 hours and I'm basically putting more of that into probably 4 different buckets, which is family and my own personal self-care, my happy, healthy caregiver business, and my home, because I've and projects to make this an environment that really brings us joy, which is something that we're going to lead into too. So
yes, exactly. And you nailed it. It was family, faith,
and the Lord, my faith as well. Like, you know, I do start my day, and this is kind of a habit that I've been doing is I'm not as disciplined as you, but it has been a muscle I've been building, and you've had a big part in that for me as well. And so every day, I've got my smartphone app. I do want to protect my joy. And so I don't get on my smartphone and start looking at news and Twitter and social feeds and stuff. Instead, I go to an app called YouVision, the Bible app, and I always have an active plan going, and where I can read the devotion and the script. And it maybe honestly takes like 5 minutes, but it really is the first thing I do every day before I put my feet on the ground. And so if I didn't get any more time in my faith, then at least it feels good to just put first things first. So
exactly. And it centers you, it gets you started, it starts your day. When I start my day on the word versus when I don't, 2 totally different Ashleys you're gonna get, you know, process things differently, handle life differently, and we're human beings. That's gonna happen. There's something you said that I wanted to just kind of expand on a little bit. I personally found that you know, keeping this routine, this weekly routine, and really focusing on what it is I want to do in my life, Ladies Who Love Christ Ministries, helping our clients, you know, these things are really important to me. So I do focus on those things. I do have goals in those areas. You have to understand it's okay to set goals. It's okay to focus on those goals, but you can be flexible in your methods. Don't change the goal, change the plan if you need to. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you don't get everything done in a day that you want to get done, or maybe I call them God appointments. You know, there's some days where I have all my plans. It's like I've got all my plans, but he directs my steps. He may put someone in front of me that just needs a phone call from me or a conversation, and maybe it takes up 2 or 3 hours of time that I didn't anticipate. Be flexible in those areas, but understand that creating some structure gives you that outline so that you can really focus well on what it is you need to do, especially as a caretaker too, and just taking care of. And I think in a way we're all caretakers to somebody, whether it's, you know, someone that's aging and needing help in that phase of life, or it's, you know, I'm a caretaker in a lot of ways for my husband. You know, there are things that I do for him and vice versa. So yeah, that was a good point.
Thank you. Absolutely. Well, let's head into our fourth point, which is about protecting our joy. And I kind of touched on it when I said that I limit the news and social media. So I'm not saying that these things are bad things. I'm just saying perhaps consider how you feel about yourself and about your situation. Do you feel more anxious after watching the news and looking at what other people have going on in their lives? For me, I have to really protect that and have a shell of that. A lot of people are expecting me to be able to fill up their buckets. And so I have to kind of pull back sometimes and really limit. I know, Ashley, you do too as well, that we've got to limit. And, you know, we can't, back to your first point, we can't control the chaos that's coming around us, but we can control the chaos that's happening inside of us. And so one person had told me once that if you worry, and we've got lots to worry about, frankly, but if we worry and something bad happens, then we suffer twice. And if we choose, and it's a choice, I think, not to worry, but to really focus on what we can control and protecting our joy, then and if something bad were to happen, then we only suffer once. And so I don't know about y'all, but I only want to suffer one time. And so that has stuck with me over the years. And it can be hard, I think, living with other people. I've got 3 other people in the house, and my husband is more of a, wants to know, you know, the latest and greatest minute by minute about what's happening. And we had to have a frank conversation about, look, this is kind of what I want to know and what I don't want to know. And if it affects our family and this and that, and it's something big that I need to know, share that with me. But I can't know the play-by-play all day long of what's happening in the day and what the current count is of how many cases in our county and what rank our state is. And it's just not stuff I can control. And so we've had to set boundaries in our home about that to protect our joy. And we've also just had to protect boundaries about being kind to one another, because it's a lot to be, you know, situated with these people that you normally had breathing space from. And so, you know,
Yeah.
find your own space. You know, if you're feeling kind of in a funky mood that day, I just kind of put it out there and say, look, I don't want to be in my own skin today. Just giving you a heads up that maybe mom needs a little more space today. And my kids are the same, you know, and my husband. So we've had to really set some boundaries around that stuff. And if you can't, you know, spend time in your faith, or it's not a muscle you've built yet, at least say the serenity prayer. I feel like there's a lot of comfort and joy that comes with the serenity prayer. And so I try to bookend my day with the app in the beginning and the serenity prayer at night, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to accept the things that I can. And just to say that before you go to bed, and it's kind of, those are some good bookends into your day. And then I would say the other fun thing is, like, I am a productivity ninja, I say sometimes, where I love to like check things off. And I'm so excited to have this time to get projects around the house that I haven't been able to complete. But at the same time, I think it's important that we all incorporate something fun in each day. And so we've been, you know, enjoying playing some board games, putting puzzles together. I printed photos, and I've been scrapbooking with my daughter, and we haven't been enjoying some Netflix together, which has been fun. We've also been making some s'mores around the campfire on some of these cooler nights. And I think there's things that we can do together that are that help recharge our battery and just kind of bring us back again to that value of what's important. So what have you been doing fun in your life, Ashley, during this coronavirus pandemic?
So thankfully, and you know, real quick, before I tell you what I've been doing that's fun, 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of a sound mind. And 2 Timothy 1:7, And that is one of my favorites. It's something that I cling to during times like this. I remind myself that I've not been given a spirit of fear, that we can have chaos going on around us, but we can have peace coming from within us. And that peace is the peace that truly surpasses understanding. You can't put an explanation to it. You can't define it. It's just that peace of the Lord. And that's an amazing, amazing thing. So you brought up some fantastic, fantastic points there. Fortunately for me, I love working out. Like, I always joke that when I started training, I couldn't stand it. It was hard. It was not easy. It was challenging. My body hated it. My body wasn't used to it. It would get more sore. It was just like, oh, but I just switched. And one day I was like, wow, man, this is like my hobby. This is my passion. I'll go in there. I'll leave I actually have, this is another little, it's kind of a little tip here. I have a personal phone and 4 people in the world have this number. And basically, if I'm on the side of the road and I need help, I have a phone, and it's my mom, dad, Alex, and his parents. And literally that's it. And I had to do that because I had to have that time to walk away. I found that I would fall prey to instructions if I was going to get a workout and I would look at my phone and all of a sudden something else would steal my attention. So those types of things help. But I'll go in the gym, I'll bring my personal phone, blast the music by myself and just have fun. I'm so passionate about the Lord. So for me to just sit here for hours reading and diving in, I write mini studies, little mini Bible studies. That's just my thing. I love it. And it's funny because every weekend on the radio, this is like a little behind the scenes. I'll sit there and it's like, I can't think of what. It's like, what am I going to talk about today? I know the general topic, but literally an hour before, it's like, bam, 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 write out the study and add another one to the book. So to me, that's fun. You know, I like it. I enjoy it. I don't have a television. 15 years ago this year, I gave up my television and I said, okay, this thing is just eating up copious amounts of my time. I have reputable sources that I go to for media and news that I trust. I'm not blind to what's happening in the world, but I'm very, 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 very careful what I allow into my head. And so I don't have a TV. So I read and study and listen to music, and
I love
it's
that.
a fun life.
Music is music is such an energizer. So I think that's a fun thing to enjoy. So we I know we want to recap kind of what our 4 points that we talked about, and we want to share how people can connect with us online. And then I know for the privacy of the folks that join the call that we want to turn the recording off and have the ability for them to ask questions. But so just to recap, we did 4 points today. We did to help navigate the self-care challenges of COVID-19. And so the first one that Ashley shared was focusing on what you can control. Then we talked about not isolating yourself, but just really engaging with people who are important to you. Establishing a weekly routine so that you're you know, we want to help you so that with the end of COVID-19, you look back and you're like, what did I do during COVID-19? You've got some really great stories to share. Begin with the end in mind, and then as far as protecting your joy, because I think it's a lot. There's a lot of heavy stuff going on out there. We've all got our own personal situations, and so we care about you. We want you to protect your joy. We want you to be happy, and really want you to find the blessings. I think that there are some blessings in COVID-19. Ashley, what do you want to add?
Yes, you nailed it right there. That's everything. Listen, there are so many good things that can come from this. Come out of this time and say, I grew as a person. I grew mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I grew. I always want to grow. I never want to stop growing. So I think that's the biggest thing is find out what that looks like in your life. Play with it a little. It doesn't have to look exactly like what we shared. This is just what works for us. But find what works for you and go with it, and plug in with people. You can connect with Ladies Who Love Christ Ministries on Facebook. You can look up Ladies Who Love Christ, a Bible study ministry. We'll approve you to join the group. It is for ladies. I actually, believe it or not, have people ask that, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a place to meet ladies. It's a place for ladies to come and study the Word of God. So come join us if you're a lady who loves Christ. And also A&A Wellness on Facebook, A&A Wellness Fitness, Nutrition, and Lifestyle Group. You could just do hashtag A&A Wellness and come work out. Elizabeth and I love to sweat together. We do our virtual workouts every Wednesday and Friday. We're doing this for our peeps on us throughout the month of April. Wednesday and Friday workouts. I come to you from my garage gym and we hit it hard. So yeah, or andawellness.com. A&A like Alex and Ashley. And spelled out wellness.com. But I was glad to be with you guys today, and I hope you're encouraged through this.
I hope so too. I'm encouraged. I didn't know I needed it, but I got some. So and thank you all for joining. And you can find out more about Happy Healthy Caregiver on happyhealthycaregiver.com, and you'll find some great free resources there to help family caregivers, as well as the links to the podcast. So we are here for you. We want to support you. We want to encourage you. And we also just want to connect. So you'll find our social channels and stuff from our website as well. I know that people like to follow. And so we can put some of that positivity in your feeds and some encouragement, and have a little bit of us in your ears. So Ashley, this was fun. Let's do it again. Let us know if you've got topics, and then let's turn off the recording so that folks.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that now.